Hey, what's up, everybody? It's just Charles, and welcome you guys to another episode of the Dreamerspro Show, where we cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, and entertainment, and we give you guys a fresh perspective on things and how we see them. And today we got a pretty interesting show for you guys that we definitely want you guys to stick around for. But before we get into it, please make sure you like the video and subscribe to the channel. Now, first of all, congratulations to the Chiefs, to Patrick Mahomes. Y'all know I don't really follow football, so unfortunately I can't give you guys a full breakdown on that. But anyway, shout out to them and congratulations to them. But anyway, let me get into this topic here. As you know, the NBA trade deadline just ended last week, right? And during the trade deadline, some significant moves were made. One of them was the Brooklyn Nets trading away Kyrie Irving to the Dallas Mavericks. Another one was Kevin Durant being traded from the same Brooklyn Nets to the Phoenix Suns. But another one that was also covered quite extensively was the Russell Westbrook trade from the Lakers to the Utah Jazz. Now, before the week closed last week, we covered the coverage or the negative coverage that Russell Westbrook was receiving from the media, specifically in this case from ESPN, and we covered the comments that his wife posted on Twitter, where she went directly at Dave McMenamin, ESPN and NBA on ESPN, for basically quoting someone calling him a vampire. And then they were talking about, imagine a vampire flying through the hallway and all of these different things, which I thought was absolutely distasteful, right? And I thought it was like, okay, when did they get so comfortable to talk about Russell Westbrook that now they can say these type of things about him on television? We produced that show. A decent amount of people saw the show and a lot of people concurred with me. Now, one of the major talking points surrounding Westbrook all of last year and even coming into this year was his lack of tradability. Given how poorly he played last year and how he was scapegoated by the media, and he became the face of the Lakers. He was a poster boy of the challenges that the Lakers were facing. And whenever we would think about the challenges that the Lakers were going through, Russell Westbrook was the first person that came to mind. Now, to be fair, Russell Westbrook did not have a good campaign with the Lakers last year. But to say that he was the number one reason that team didn't succeed was just downright unfair. But that's the way they portrayed him in the media. And they spoke about him ad nauseum, to the point where it became nauseating listening to these people come out there every single day and make fun of this guy. And some people feared that a lot of this negative press that he was getting was ultimately going to hurt his trade value in the marketplace. But then the trade deadline came around and we were able to see that he was dealt to the Utah Jazz. Subsequently, we started hearing reports that the Jazz were looking to buy him out, but then we started to get some other reports that kind of flew in the face or was diametrically opposed to those previous reports, which was nobody wants Russell Westbrook. We started hearing that maybe the Utah Jazz were sitting down and talking to him. And in an article that I was able to unearth this morning while just doing some research here from CBSSports.com, is actually showing that Russell Westbrook has some teams that are really interested in him, and they're talking about the potential landing places for him. So let me get into this article here. Russell Westbrook expected to join the Chicago Bulls or Miami Heat if buyout happens, per report. When the Lakers sent Russell Westbrook to Utah before the trade deadline, it was never expected that he would stay there. He hasn't officially been bought out by the Jazz yet, but the expectation is that he will be soon. And when that happens, the indication is that he will join either the Chicago Bulls or the Miami Heat. Early this week, ESPN Adrian Wojnarowski reported that the Chicago Bulls were a front runner to sign Westbrook, while Bleacher Report Chris Haynes reported that the Bulls and Heat would be Westbrook's top choices. The Clippers have been mentioned as a possibility as well, with Paul George saying he would welcome the opportunity to play with Westbrook again. Westbrook hasn't been bought out by Utah yet. He could still stay there. If he does, he will collect his full $47 million salary this season. Taking a buyout will result in less money for Westbrook, but this is the cost if he wants to join a playoff contender, as it's expected that Utah could be on its way to the lottery. Westbrook, of course, played for the Bulls coach Billy Donovan in Oklahoma City, and Donovan sounds like he's excited about the prospect of reuniting with his former point guard, who spoke highly of him recently. What I want to focus on here is this. Number one, the narrative around Westbrook, as it was similar to Kyrie Irving, was that who would want him? Who would want this guy? That's what they were saying about Kyrie Irving. Who would want this guy? Who would want him? He's a locker room this, he's a locker room that. If you listen to the coverage that Russell Westbrook received last year, for example, from Skip Bayless, I mean, it was like he was like a team obliterator. Nobody wants him. He ruins your locker. All of these negative things. And I've noticed that a lot of these people have an issue with Westbrook. I don't know if it's because he didn't have a strong relationship with media members. Maybe he was a bit flippant to them over the years. I don't know what it is. But a lot of these guys seem to make it personal now with him. And after listening to the comments that Stephen A. Smith made on the Pat McAfee show, where he admitted that he had a personal issue with Kyrie Irving, it is okay for us to assume that people in the media can hold personal grudges against players, given the fact Stephen A. Smith admitted so, even though he tried for the longest not to admit that. He tried to say it was just about the basketball thing, even when Jay Williams pressed him on the issue on live television. But the story about him has been that he's not going to fit in any locker room. And then, when I think back to Russell Westbrook before he joined the Lakers, I think about him with his time with the Washington Wizards. He was able to get that team to the play-in. The Lakers didn't make the play-in last year because they were just terrible. And you look at them again this year, they're not going to make the playoffs most likely with the way things are going, although they just had a good win against the Golden State Warriors. But now we're hearing that other teams are interested in him, right? Teams that are looking to make a move. If I just quickly go back over the list of teams, the Miami Heat, that's a playoff team. That's a playoff team. If you look at the Chicago Bulls, they look like a team that may be trying to make a push for the playoffs. If I look at the standings in the Eastern Conference, yes, the Miami Heat right now are the number 6 seed. Another score on that roster would definitely help their cause by adding Russell Westbrook. If we look at the Chicago Bulls, they're the number 11 team in the Eastern Conference. Maybe if you plug him into your rotation, he may be able to give him a bump in the standings. And here's what I want to say in closing. I can 100% guarantee you, if Russell Westbrook goes to play with the Chicago Bulls or the Miami Heat, he's going to play way better than he did when he played with the Lakers. He's going to play way better. And we're going to find out that there's absolutely nothing wrong with his ability, and no, he is not washed. He was made to be the scapegoat, period, end of story. And I'm happy for him that he has moved on. And I hope we can just move on from this entire, scapegoating whose fault it is. Maybe just the team sucks. How about the entire team sucks? And we just stop pointing fingers at one guy. So kudos to Russell Westbrook, and I hope he moves on to greener pastures. Russell Westbrook at no point in time in the history of me watching basketball has ever been my favorite player, but I believe the coverage that he received got to the point where it started to become unfair and flat out weird. They were slandering this guy's name up and down the media, and I don't think that was fine. So these are my thoughts and opinions on this. The question to the audience is simply this: where do you think Russell Westbrook lands? Do you think he ends up with the Chicago Bulls, the Miami Heat, or possibly the Clippers after Paul George expressed his interest in him? So whatever you guys think, please leave your thoughts in the comment section. We catch you guys on the next show. Peace.